just stop here for a second, Jason?
Sure.
Let me know when you're ready.
And we're live here, Charles.
It's great to be here in the park with you, Jason. Have we ever done this before?
Yeah, it's funny seeing you here.
Look at this sign. This is a classic example of government at work. Lawn closed. Like, I wouldn't be able to figure that out myself. There's no, first of all, do you see a lawn? I see dirt.
Yes, it's the dog crap infused dirt that's closed.
But there's no lawn.
That's fine.
So why did they pay to create this sign and pay people to put this sign up here? I mean,
I don't know, Charles. There's a lot of inexplicable crap going on.
Yeah.
I just want to check that we are indeed live. Oop, we are. So people can watch us.
Lawn closed. Like, I wouldn't be able to figure that out myself.
We've got Crowdsource the Truth 7, Crowdsource the Truth 8.
Sunday with Charles?
The Sunday with Charles YouTube channel. We've got a bit of a volume discrepancy here I just want to try to address.
Odyssey, Rumble.
Odyssey, Rumble, Getter.
Of course.
What?
Not subscribe to our Patreon.
And subscribe to our and Patreon, yes, of course. Huge thank you to the viewer sponsors that make every show possible, even the free shows. Charles, there's so much crazy making stuff going on here in Joey Biden's
flailing circus.
Failing circus.
And flailing. It's
failing
and flailing. But yeah, it's really, I think long ago for me, it reached the point where this guy has assembled the stupidest bunch of dingbats ever put together in a big government before. One is dumber than the next.
Yeah.
Normally, with these recent presidencies, they're so big that the president really needs to have an effective chief of staff. And if you think about Trump, it's a real pity that he didn't have his team more carefully selected up front, because I think there were a lot of bad decisions early on that jacked him up basically in the end.
The Jared book is very good at giving us insight into that.
Yeah. But when you look at the way they decide to do things, I mean, I've never been inside government, but I've been around very big companies and big projects that are well run. And you typically have a collection of risk-reducing people who are, every time you come up with an idea, they don't care about the upside. They're just saying, what's the political downside of doing this? To make sure that in the rush for glory, you don't do something which destroys your political career. Or the same concept can work in business. And clearly, very clearly, there's an inside team of the Biden people that comes out of the Obama administration. There's stories today all over the place. Are the three sisters going to save? We're
getting eyeballed by this guy. That is a mean-looking character.
I don't care.
He's got that lowrider handicap vehicle, and he's smoking cigarettes and sort of perusing to attack us, I think. Do me a favor, hang on to that for just 1 quick second. He's actually coming
this way.
I'll be ready to kick him in the face if he gets near us.
Right.
Talking it out, huh? Talking it out? Well, you know how to work that shit, huh? You're talking it out?
Yeah.
Have a nice day, sir.
No, I can't do that. I can only embrace the gift of life.
All right,
Like
good.
I see both of you. I don't know what you're saying.
Let him go.
Yeah, we got a lot of interesting...
Good call.
Oh, Charles, look at what we've got right there.
Little dog.
Look up.
Chester.
Stupid Mario World.
Where?
Her shirt.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Chester Arthur. Well, this guy stopped now.
No, wait
You
a
want to
minute.
veer off to the right?
I'm having a tough time getting our audio matched up here. Give me just 1 second. Check 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, maybe that'll work.
So what I was saying before that guy and Mr. Banana came scooping up on us was that there's a lot of, I think, planted stories about how the team of Susan Rice, who's evil incarnate, go in front of 5 Sunday shows and lie her ass off about Benghazi right before the 2012 election.
That is terrible.
And also be independently wealthy and spend all her time saying she deserves privileges because she's African American and stuff like that. It's just she's a piece of dog shit. I've actually run into her at a conference, and she thought it was a Bloomberg conference, so she thought she had a friendly audience and didn't appreciate that people like me were going to be in the audience. And she was basically, didn't exactly say it like this, but she we're going to jack that Trump up. I mean, it's more or less what she was saying. And anyway, so she's one of the three sisters. Avril Haines,
right,
who we were talking about in the last show with West Executive Advisors, is another one. And the third of the three sisters is the evil Lisa Monaco, who's the Deputy Attorney General of the United States. So you look at all these people, and they clearly have been working to get Trumpy, as we said early on, since before the 2016 election, arguably way before the 2016 election. I have a feeling that the plot to get Hillary in there to protect the Obama and Bush families was something that started way before 2016. It could have started in 2007. It could have started even before then. So, with all that said, you got to believe that.
Wait, let me pause you a second on that idea, because I think we have some evidence that could indicate they're always trying to make it so that they control both sides,
sure,
right?
Absolutely.
Bush and Clinton,
absolutely.
And then, but it's like this power struggle within that. And Trump was outside of that game, which is why they hated him so much.
Well, he cost them $100 billion. It cost the Bush family $100 million. I mean, they're Bush family donors, right?
From what? From running Jeb?
Low energy, yeah, but the $100 million disappeared. Karl Rove probably took 15 of it. But
I love how pissed off Jeb got when he said, "You are never going to be president." It's like, ha ha.
About that.
What are you doing now, Jeb? When's the last time anybody saw that guy?
Jeb, or Schleb, I think.
Schleb
is the original name. Anyway, this team is a team of cheaters, right? They break all the rules.
The cheaters.
And I was like, you got to update that one. That was one of your best. But you got to believe that the important jobs number is coming out, and important jobs number is coming out on Friday.
What is that? Unemployment?
And the monthly unemployment figure. So, as a guess, people unofficially or maybe even officially get an embargo draft of that number, and the political team knows what that number is. It's a guess. And that's why, so yesterday they injected Joe Biden, I'm making this part of it up, with some kind of horse medicine or something to make him...
to visit Joe Rogan.
Right. And he gets up and gives a speech about guns yesterday in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, it was just nonsense.
He said Second Amendment supporters are shooting at law enforcement, but that does not
and then he said,
seem to be the case at all.
And then he said, and you're missing the point. If you want to take on this government, you don't need
get an F-15.
Get an F-15, not an AR-15. Oh, okay, the president has just asked me to get it. Can I put it on my Visa card? Or can I use the deficit reduction savings to buy one of that?
Somebody did buy a MiG, and you can, I think in Las Vegas, you can fly in a MiG.
A friend of mine had a jet, a fighter jet, small one. But you could get them. But anyway, it was
firing missiles at the Army.
That would not be a good idea. Probably this Army wouldn't notice. But too busy in diversity, equity, and inclusion training.
Sending everything to Ukraine and being like, oh, we're out of stuff and we don't know where it all went.
We like to shoot back at you, but we don't have any ammunition. We gave it to Ukrainian nut jobs. They're selling it to people.
They now said they're sending stuff to Taiwan.
Oh.
This is such a stupid plan.
Right. So,
doing so badly, let's re-up.
So back on the three speeches Biden's going to give. So he gave the speech. There are numerous articles. Let's just let this lady go. There are numerous articles ridiculing that speech for being so nonsensical on so many different levels. And then tomorrow, apparently he's going to give a national address imploring we Americans to work with Joe Biden to save the soul of the nation. I mean,
it feels like an ad for his presidential campaign.
Well, the guy is, he's an angry man. He's an angry scold who can barely tie his own shoes. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know how to tell the truth. He's just a bold-faced liar, and he's the last person you'd want to try to unite the nation based on his history. I mean, was he really saying perhaps we need another large spending bill so I can have my family and our supporters can steal a whole bunch of money?
Well, this guy's a jerk.
He has the green light.
Yeah, but honking aggressively like that, if we step foot into the
he's
thing...
a doctor.
Yeah, because he's a dick. But we step foot into that crosswalk...
Let's go the other way, because it's shady.
And he's not allowed to even drive, so...
You're not wearing a mask.
It's just more aggressive assholism from a doctor.
I know.
Oh, look what's going into Taco Bell today, Charles.
Do you have
sewage?
To get an MD, to get licensed, do you have to take a course of being an asshole?
I think that just comes naturally.
So he's going to give this speech on Thursday, and we know. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist or a good prognosticator to assume that Joe Biden's going to fall flat on his face, perhaps literally, at this speech tomorrow. Where is he going to give this speech? Outside Independence Hall, famous for having a cracked Liberty Bell.
Well, it's sort of adjacent. They've moved the Liberty Bell to its own little.
But
Liberty
you really
Bell
want to
condo.
bring up, crack?
But let me ask you a question. Why, if they spent months having Joe Biden give speeches from a set of the White House, walking distance from the real White House, why do they need to transport his geriatric dumbass? Hey, Arby's went out of business. Why do they need to physically transport him to Philadelphia to say a bunch of stupid shit? They could just put a picture of the Liberty Bell there and have him talk on a green screen.
Well, I really do not wish him any harm, but I really think what they're trying to do, the J6 narrative, turning that protest, which we attended and which you videotaped, and I think showed fairly conclusively that of the potential interactions that the crowd had with one another and with any what's this, Ethan Egg?
Yeah, that's the name of the place.
We are a cashless establishment. That's right, because nobody's going to be buying any of this shit.
Whoa. I think Starbucks also said that they're not taking cash.
Is that right?
So he's going to go to Philadelphia and make this speech as a dope.
Right, and in a best case scenario, the reporting Thursday night is going to be Joe Biden gets back on his game, and he really knows what he's talking about, and he's struck a real chord with the wider public.
Something's wrong with my microphone. Hang on one second.
Sure.
Keep talking. He's going to strike a chord with the public?
He's going to strike, in a best case scenario, he'll strike a chord with the public, but in a likely scenario, he's going to make gaffe after gaffe after gaffe, and the print is going to come out Friday morning, just as the TV media and the radio and podcast people are evaluating the jobs report, which is going to come out on Friday at 8:30 in the morning. So he probably thinks he's going to get for him a good number of more jobs created. These people are so stupid.
Don't they know already what it says?
Maybe they do. They really shouldn't know for a political speech. But my point is, if the jobs number on Friday is very strong, i.e. they created more jobs than expected, then
I can't see how that would be.
I'm just saying, if it's strong, then Jay Powell and the central banks are going to say, then we can raise interest rates. See what we've been doing. Raising interest rates hasn't hurt the job creation engine. In fact, it's sparking job creation. Let us raise rates more. When you raise rates more, you're just crushing the consumer. You're crushing House of Hammer.
That's going to become relevant in a later show, but I just wanted you to see that. Okay. Army Hammer. He's from a family that has...
Armand Hammer?
That's his grandfather, I think.
Oh, okay.
And that guy's a communist.
He lived across the street from me.
Oh my God, we got to talk about that later. But anyway, keep going on the jobs report.
So to go down this track of saying, political season's gearing up, we've got to put our A-team out there. Let's have Joe make a fool of himself on gun control. Follow that up by making a fool out of himself, an even bigger fool of himself on ministering to the soul of the nation. Meanwhile, I don't know if you noticed that, but approximately on the 1-year anniversary of the disgusting
Afghanistan
exit, what did Joe Biden do?
I think he said it was a great idea to leave Afghanistan or
He
something.
taped an episode of Jay Leno's Garage,
What?
and then
With his Corvette?
and drove his whatever it is, 67 Corvette.
Yeah, he's got, I think, a big block.
But the point is, it's a monstrous error that was made. We've got now in Iraq, we've got rumblings that the same thing could well happen in Iraq to us now.
They have all kinds of fighting in Libya as well.
And Libya is exploding in a civil war. This idiot decides to film an episode. I like Jay Leno, and I like that show.
I actually like Jay Leno's Garage better than his comedy show.
Yeah, he's a very funny guy. I'd say he's a pretty hard-working guy. He probably doesn't have to do anything with all the money he's got, but yet he's working hard.
Look at that.
What?
Sous vide kitchen.
There you go. You should venture east a little
I
bit
have
more.
never seen a restaurant that's specializing in sous vide before.
It's a food hall.
Virtual food hall. What the hell does that mean? You eat a picture of food.
You give them money.
You put on that Mark Zuckerberg helmet and you think you're eating food.
Yeah, you give them money, and
What are you doing here?
feel free to.
That lady's just like jamming through the narrowest little area. What is she saying now?
Let's leave her alone.
She jams herself in and then is yelling at me and will not shut up going down the street.
Crazy, Jason. So, going back on this narrative, and then over the weekend, he's going to give some other address, touting the future of the country. And,
How does he have time to make a Jay Leno show even without the anniversary?
He hasn't been to the border. And then you have this.
Karine says no one's crossing the border.
No, that would be pronounced latrine. I mean, she is really. We don't need. I mean, we have a president who does not tell the truth. We don't, and a team of his cabinet that all they do is lie. The last thing we need is some idiot standing at the podium. That podium, that room has to be air conditioned. It has to be heated.
She's clueless.
And you can't. When I went and took my oral exams to get out of Yale, and they asked me a question, I couldn't say, I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah.
But just give me a pass anyway. I mean,
She didn't even offer to circle back. She just says, I don't have an answer.
And I'm not going
Deal
to
with that.
show me more respect. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, but the thing of it is, these creeps on the inside, the Ron Klain, who was our Ebola czar under Obama, though he has no medical training of any kind. We still don't know what happened with whatever money went for Ebola, who benefited from all that.
And also, Fauci was involved in that ZMapp Ebola drug, which Dr. Qui-Gon Chu, who was escorted out of the Canadian Winnipeg Biosafety Level 3, she worked on that.
Right.
Ebola.
Right, so you have this idiot, he's the chief of staff, and they're trying all sorts of things on us for size. I mean, Cheryl Atkinson talks about it, I think she's not the only one, the shoe on the other foot principle. So you imagine it's January 2017, and remember, during the Trump inauguration, you had that washed-up singer, Madonna, grandmother
saying
Madonna.
she wants to blow up.
Yes, I think I might want to blow up the White House.
How do they let her say that?
Trump's first move wasn't to round up 500 of them, and there were
Right.
probably 500 of them, put him in prison in a Trump-friendly jurisdiction, which wouldn't be Washington,
Florida.
D.C., somewhere, and keep him there to this day, almost 2 years now, 1.75 years roughly. Many on no charges, but in prison, in a dangerous prison. They could be sick. They're certainly suffering. I mean, the
terrible.
anxiety when you're a breadwinner, you're taking care of people, and instead of winning bread, you're wondering if you're going to get raped.
Well, in the children's life, I mean, lives are being destroyed by this.
Yeah, the anxiety, the emotional distress this is causing, and physical. So imagine Trump did that to 500 Obama supporters. What would be going on right now across? Would anything be, still standing?
They should have just done Kathy Griffith and Madonna. That would have been funny.
Your punishment is Madonna, you're going to be the stand-up comic, and Kathy, you're going to be the singer, and you're going to have to perform for 10 years to each other.
Madonna had a huge, a little noisy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but Madonna made an NFT.
Why don't you go ahead?
That was pretty interesting that dude stood up the second we walked past.
Right.
But she made an NFT of her vagina
Nice.
just in time for NFT sales to drop
That
off
explains why they
99%.
dropped.
Yeah,
They dropped some-
people are like, something about this stinks.
Yeah. God almighty.
But they didn't lock them up for saying all that stuff.
Right, so you have that outrage of under now the Biden, what passes for administration. Then you have the revelation. I actually cheer Trump for saying what he's been saying about the election now.
Which we still can't even say on
I didn't see
YouTube.
it.
I know. But people can join us on the First Amendment friendly sponsor exclusive channels.
But you know, they basically admitted, or the American public understands, that had the truth been known about what was going on back then, there might have been a different election result, forgetting the issue of tampering at the polls.
Right. Just strictly with
Right.
the laptop news.
And then, now with this raid, and I'm very happy that I was able to get a piece in American Thinker as quickly as I did after that raid. I mean, it is out-freaking-rageous that they would go. Today they have, somebody has leaked, the Department of Justice included a picture.
It was in their filing.
In their filing, ostensibly of a pile of materials with the cover shown of certain things purporting to be, they have classified markings on them, but just like on the floor or dumped somewhere on a
Well,
table.
they obviously took that out of boxes and spread it out to take that evidence photo.
But the point they were trying to make is that see how sloppy this is.
Yeah, he's just dumping it all over.
And you can call Trump a lot of things. Is he prone to braggadocio? Yes. Can he be boorish? Yes. Can he be impolite? Of course. But the one thing he is not is messy. And I just don't believe that those papers would be kept in that fashion by anybody close to Trump. I just don't believe it.
It also doesn't address his primary rebuttal, which is that these are classified documents, but when he took them, he was the president,
Right.
and his standing order was that every document
Right.
that he sends to Mar-a-Lago is declassified.
Right, and so they, the mainstream media gets an early, probably, signal that the raid's going to happen. They're ready with all their stories. They've had all these different fictional themes woven into the mainstream press about it was nuclear materials. He was going to sell out to a foreign power. On and on, all this stuff is just bullshit.
Absurd.
And now, in this coordinate, they have Trump asked for a special master, which I think is absolutely warranted. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I think it's warranted.
It's too late, I think.
Well, he asked for it. The Justice Department comes back and says no with this filing.
Yeah.
And at the same time, a whole bunch of nominal Republicans, Christine Whitman being one of them, was an idiot.
Yeah.
And formal prosecutors, they file an amicus curiae brief basically saying there's no need for a special master. Don't tell me that this wasn't thought through in advance.
But what did lawfare have to do with that amicus brief?
They don't say that it's lawfare.
It's a game of lawfare.
Yeah.
I see. I misunderstood
in
that.
a lawfare move. But they have the filing and whatever it is.
No, I looked at it.
Yeah. So it's very clear that somebody is terrified of what Trump ultimately will do. And then we learn, which now it's not just because I've wasted so much time on the Clinton Foundation that I feel everything has to revolve around the Clinton Foundation, but the National Archivist, or the General Counsel to the National Archives, nice garbage, Jason.
That's what I was looking at.
Nice, this is some quality garbage. Look at this.
It's a lot. They're
more.
adding more.
Yeah.
Well, this guy's going to get a fine for putting out a mattress.
I don't know. It's probably greased a skateboard. Nice.
Yeah, put more of those in the garbage. You're going to get a fine for the mattress.
Why? Why stop?
I don't know, but I saw somebody get a fine for throwing out a mattress.
Oh, they get a fine when they don't put in plastic bag.
Oh, really? Is that it? That guy seems like he knows more about the garbage rules than I
He's
do.
on top of his garbage.
Plastic. Why?
That's
I
good.
guess bed bugs.
So let's go all the way to the river. Go up to the river.
Okay.
We haven't done that in a while. Show
We need to
people
play
the river.
Take
Here
Me
we have
to
a nice
the River.
person.
Oh, well, wait. You were just talking about Christy Todd
Yeah, no,
Whitman.
I'm
We
not-
should play Down to the River.
No, I was talking about how the general counsel to the National Archives is the person who has instigated this raid.
Yes.
This is somebody who got together and got into the National Archives, I don't know if it's general counsel, but on the legal staff, in 1998. 1998 was under Clinton, and 1998 is precisely when the Clinton Foundation had some very serious problems. They had, on the one hand, said in their application for tax exemption that they were established October 23rd, 1997. They were going to file a tax return for 1997. They never did.
AARP, I think, or no, NAACP lost their tax exempt status for not filing for 3 years. But I guess the Clintons are filing, they're just fraudulent.
No, they didn't file. They never filed a 1997 return.
But it's if it's 3 years in a row that it automatically kicks
Well,
you out, that said.
That's one.
It's whatever
thing.
they want to do.
Yeah, the real issue is there even an organization here? You can't go around the world, in this case, claiming to be an organization when you're not an organization, and get involved across state lines and national boundaries, soliciting all
Apparently you
kinds.
can.
Well, if you're Clinton, you and I can't, but if you're Clinton,
Right.
you get away with it. And so, why the 97 issue is important is that back then, and even still now, there's 4.5 year test period where you say you're a public charity. That is to say, in the Clinton Foundation's case, you say, let's let them go, that you say that you're getting 2/3 of your money from small donors and government sources. Stop.
Yeah, there's a stop sign.
Stop sign.
Don't bother.
Rebecca's
You
rushing
get hit
back.
by that woman, there's going to be a lot
No,
of kinetic force.
She's stopping there. She's anyway. So there's a test period of partial 97 and 4 subsequent years, where in Schedule A to the 990 you've got to say what happened in 97. They never filed a return for 97, and each of the returns in 98, 99, 2000, 2001 are fraudulent. But VA. Are you talking about the garbage or the VA?
No, the VA Medical
look
Center.
At the woman on the garbage.
Oh, I didn't see her. What is she looking for?
She's garbage surfing.
She doesn't look like a typical garbage
Sad
surfer.
to say, Jason, it really is sad to see old people going through garbage.
I agree. We're in a terrible condition.
But anyway, so this 1998, this guy is there from 1998 to the present. That's 24 years. He's the one who's now, bureaucrats love to do that. Yeah, he may be president of the United States, but I decide whether something in fact was declassified.
Right.
The president doesn't do that. And my response to people like that is just fuck yourself. I mean, it's just, that's not right. You're not a petty dictator because you've got some, even though you're the general counsel of the National Archives, which should be a big job.
Well, look at how Peter Strzok acts. Look at how any of these people think that they're, on the right side of history, so they're morally justified to do whatever the hell it is they think they need to do.
Right. So they're clearly on an aggressive, get Trumpy exercise in this coming up on Labor Day weekend now. And normally,
Legal weed user, Charles.
Huh?
Legal weed user over there.
Yeah, where the elite meet. That's an interesting building. What's that?
Yeah, let's look at that.
City of New York.
I think it's a bathhouse.
You think so?
I
Is Barry going to be there? Bathhouse Barry?
let's go look at it, because I think I've looked at it before and been like, what the hell is this?
It's okay. I'm gonna go this way, or
Yeah.
Go to the sidewalk?
Well, let's use the crosswalk,
okay.
because if you get run over, people will be pissed off at me.
I'll be.
Holy crap.
Is that dog or human?
My God.
I think
But wasn't that so? That guy who's the general counsel for the National Archives.
He's the one who's instigated this FBI raid on the false premise that they're mishandling classified information. When it's just crystal clear to me that the information in question is a tiny subset of the presidential records created over the 4-year period when Donald Trump was president. And I am doing an equivalence argument here, but you can't raid because you're in a discussion. You have no evidence that they won't comply with.
No, they're now trying to say they have evidence.
Oh, they don't have any evidence of that, and yet you do have tremendous evidence that the Clintons
destroyed the evidence when you asked.
Tons of presidential records. They don't have. They say they have a foundation. They don't. The Obama's in the same position. Where are his presidential records? Nobody knows.
And
he was digitizing them.
Well, right. And what they'll say is that, this is whataboutism. But actually, no. This is how does the justice system work ism.
Right.
Because even if these are classified documents that Donald Trump had, what is the explanation for why nothing remotely close to this happened when we know Hillary Clinton had 110 email threads with what?
It's a pool.
It's a pool? Well, see, but I
pool
think
bracelet holder's line.
Right. I think it's a
it's an Astor Levy pool.
But I think it's an ancient bathhouse converted to a pool or something.
Yeah, it's now used as a pool. There's one over there on Carmine Street.
Ooh, it just got wet. It's spraying out of that.
How come the women's door is open but the men's is closed?
Because these people identify as swimmers. This is like a nice little mini park here. What is this? A tennis court without a net?
Astor Levy, Astor Levy.
This is truly the game of champions, Charles. Without the net, it's much harder.
They needed the net at the U.S. Open, so
Is this the regular size of the tennis court?
No, not at all, and it's
maybe it's to train kids how to play tennis. I've never seen this park before. I don't think.
I guess we could go across that bridge there.
Yeah, we've done that before. Let's go up here.
Go up.
Who is Asser Levy?
I think it was somebody who may have.
He put the ass in Asser.
No, I think there's a sad story behind it. I forget what it is.
Hey, wait a minute. Look at that. This is more like Diddle Island stuff with these
learning Braille.
Hypnotic. Do you see that?
I do.
What is that about?
I don't know. And this is a track and a fake soccer field because it's not the right dimensions either.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, for running. I see that. Well, I don't know, Charles. It just seems. What? Sorry, what?
There's the bridge right there. Good timing.
Right. It just seems clear to me that this is a totally ginned up incident. Lawfare, obviously.
Vodka'd up.
Vodka'd up.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And I think people are just rightly tuning out these idiots. The good news, though, we saw there, Washington Post is going to fire 10% of its staff. Never a strong.
Snapchat, 20%.
20% really never a sign that things are going all that well.
Well, remember that Snapchat guy was offered $1 billion, I think by Zuckerberg, and then he said no. And I remember at that time thinking, I think in a general sense, if somebody offers you $1 billion for something, you probably should take it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the YouTube guys, did they take Google stock or did they take cash?
I don't know.
I mean, had they taken YouTube stock, they would have been doing pretty well. Now, this guard may stop us from filming.
Oh, really? Are we not allowed to walk on the bridge?
I don't know.
Hi. Look at those yachts, Charles.
It really should be less modest, Jason. I mean, everybody knows you've got 12 of them, one for each month.
Right. So here's more security cameras. Maybe they're giving data to Clearview AI.
Yeah. It's the first time I've ever seen a Bob's Furniture truck. You see his ads all over TV. The only person with more ads is Mike Lindell.
Exactly.
amazing how noisy highways are.
Yeah. So they've also said that they are not going to do anything with this until after the midterms, which seems like a very transparent way of explaining that they have no evidence at all and they just want the specter of this hanging over.
Well, technically, the FBI Domestic Operations Guidebook, or guide or whatever it is, does have a provision in it that says, I think it's either within 60 or 90, I think it's 60 days of the election.
But this is made up crap that they made up.
Well, no, I'm just saying this. No, but the guide has been around for a long time with the same deadline, saying that within 60 days, no election moving events should happen. But this is not 60 days. The election's November 8th. 60 days would be around September 9th. So for them to come and say this, and also it's crystal clear. I mean, it's crystal clear that James Comey's absurd pronouncements, first in July of 2016, way before the election, then on October 27th, I think, 2016, he was reopening the investigation into Hillary. He did that.
That's what I mean. I don't like these rules that they make and then they decide when they can break them. Let's have laws and you stick to the laws. And if somebody breaks the law a day before the election and you need to investigate them, then just do that.
Right. And let's defund and incarcerate crooked members of the Justice Department and the FBI. We can't let them.
Yeah.
You have crooks in there. They're doing crooked shit. They get away with doing crooked shit. They just do more crooked shit. This is the bike lane, so we want to be.
That guy was just walking around wearing body armor. But the thing is, the concept that, oh well, this is happening, but because of this stupid rule, we're not going to do anything before the election. Not doing anything is potentially interfering with the election, because if the law is you're not allowed to break the law, and they decide, well, we think you broke the law, but we're not going to look at it until after you get elected, when we'll say we can't do anything now because you won.
Well, it's right out of the Russia hoax playbook. The same thing. You make these charges, you don't provide any details, you claim that members of the gang of eight have seen the details, but they're sworn to secrecy, and then you have Adam Shitface and others. Adam Small, what's the guy's name? Eric Small, I won't use the phrase.
Not so well.
Small Dong, and others lie their asses off on TV with what they've seen. Oh, I'm on the committee, I've seen the evidence, and they haven't seen anything. And so meanwhile, the victims or the targets of this, the public, to the extent they have an opinion, they believe that the charges are true. Otherwise, they lose interest, and they just put Trump in the dirty pile and move along.
What's Solar One?
Probably a really stupid solar project here in New York. Need gas, Jason? We can buy a gallon of gas and walk around with that.
How much is gas here now?
Oh, we should be really happy. It's down. It's down from $5. Let's see what it says.
It was $4.85 the last time I bought any.
And what was it when you started? I guess we can't walk on this side, so
we could go right over here.
You think we could go?
Just close everything down there.
What?
Just close everything down there.
Closed?
We just want to check the price of gas.
Oh.
We'll be right back. Yeah. Let's just see. So, I mean, typically...
Diesel is $7.66.
Holy crap. Wow.
$5.99 for regular, $6.69 for
Holy
ultimate.
cow.
Oh, look, a seaplane.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Let's go check that out.
This gas station is really doing well.
Is this
They
thing
sell
going to take
Thomas
off?
Ice. Now that I know that, I'll be back here every week.
Well, and they bake it in the sun. That's amazing. I don't know
You
if I've
see
ever...
the guy in the back of it? Or on the side of it? God, this river stinks. Really stinks.
Yeah, there's a guy just sitting there.
God, come over here, Jason. Just see what
I smell it from here.
It's a noticeable change as you get close.
Oh my God. But it doesn't smell polluted. It just smells like fish and brine and... That's pretty interesting. What is that seaplane?
Probably picking up more cash for Hunter Biden.
We'll get the tail number, so if people want to. And
Well, I guess
something weird happening to the sound here.
I guess we have to go in an avenue or something. Because if we walk next to the highway here, it's going to be really noisy.
Yeah, no, we'll just go over to the. That's amazing, but I think this is inflated because we're over here on the FDR Drive, and there's not too many. Like, if you need gas here, that's where you're getting it. Here's somebody from Ohio.
Incredible.
What do you think about those prices?
Absurd. And Biden was taking credit for reducing them. I've reduced your gas price down to $6.69. Listen, fool, it was $2.60 when Trump, whatever it was here in New York, probably higher than the national average.
$2.89, something like that.
$3. Now it's $6.69, and I should give you praise.
So I saw a thing that said that a particular pub in England had closed because their electricity bill went in 1 month from £900 to $10,000.
Is that bad?
Well, the thing that I'm thinking about is because we've got a similar sort of phenomenon happening when, you can't run a business when you don't know. I mean, okay, you go from 900 to 1500, it's like, ouch, but we can kind of deal with that.
Right.
But you can't deal with a 10x, 11x fluctuation in your basic costs, because if you go into the pub and a beer is $5 one day and 40 the next day, you're not going to pay for it and you're going to leave and the place just goes straight out of business. Something similar is happening in California. When Gavin Newsom comes out and says, hey, by X date, every vehicle has to be electric, and if you are any car company, you're saying, holy crap, California, forget about the United States, is such a massive automobile market that when they make changes to their emission laws and things like that, it changes the design of cars around the world.
Right.
So if they tell you today that at this date every car needs to be electric, Ford, GM, Porsche, Mercedes, Audi, every single thing around the world is like, okay, we're going to retool our whole entire business to deal with this. And then in 2 years, when they realize, you know what? We don't have the ability to generate enough electricity for the electric cars we have now.
Well, and
then we're going to have no cars.
And Newsom sent out something today saying, don't charge your car.
That's what I'm saying. That's like the biggest about-face, hit yourself in the mouth with a rake ever.
There's actually a related news to this student loan fiasco. There's a guy I had a chance to spend time talking to called Nassim Taleb.
Yeah?
Well, we want to go in the shade.
Oh, I was just ducking into the shade here.
So Nassim Taleb is the guy who wrote the book The Black Swan, and he's a very, very gifted thinker, but I forget if he's
Wait, is that about Natalie Portman ballet dancing or something to do with the stock market?
Stock market. It's, how to think about things that are, quote, unexpected events coming to fruition. And he's if you were to go into business.
What are they honking at?
The light. It's still red.
Did we cross against the light?
No. The light is still red. He's impatient.
Might not have liked it that I was filming his track hawk.
So, anyway, Nassim Taleb has said what you and I both said in recent broadcasts, that this solution to have taxpayers bail out people who took out student loans and can't pay them is absurd. If you were going to have any kind of a compact doing that, is between the universities and the students.
I agree.
And that's what he came out and said. And then somebody has this great meme, which has a picture on the one hand. Hi, I'm a graduate of XYZ University. My name is Chris. I'm a graduate of XYZ University. I have X $100,000 in student loans and I can't pay them, and I don't have a job. And then the other one is, hi, I'm Pete. I never went to college. I've been making $80,000 a year. I'm an electrician. I've come over here to turn off Chris's electricity.
Right. Yeah.
But seriously, that's, this idea that everybody ought to go to college is just wrong. There are some people I know, we don't have to say Bill Gates is the counterexample, but there are people I know who got to college and it was a complete waste of time for them. They were in way above their heads. They couldn't do the work. They should have stuck to what they were good at. You know, in some cases they were great athletes. In some cases they're just very skilled with their hands. It could have been mechanics or something. And so you take 4 years of your life, you waste that time, and then
money.
you set and money, and you set yourself up for perpetual failure. So that the administrators and others at these brand name universities can continue to sell the fiction that it makes sense to go to them. And it doesn't make sense for everybody. And indeed, now that those universities are run by wokester crazy loons, I would argue, should I ever have grandchildren, I'm going to be very careful about putting them on one track or another. If I discern that it really would be a bad move to go down the wokester path to oblivion, then I hope I'll be able to have some influence and say, look, don't do that. Do something else. Don't waste your life pretending to be a lawyer when you don't know how to do it. Do something else.
It's interesting to see some of these people who are lawyers. Like, somebody commented that Kamala Harris just appears
Buffoon.
mentally unequipped
Right.
to pass law school and do all this stuff. Like, how can you be, what was she, the Attorney General of California?
Yeah.
Don't you need to be thinking on your feet and smart, and sharp, and quick? And she's just like,
Evidently not. I mean, the way they run things, you'll see it. In our own Department of Justice, the Attorney General doesn't run the department, it's the deputy. So you need a figurehead. You need a figurehead president, a figurehead cabinet secretary, and then you have real people either do the work that they're supposed to do or engage in nefarious activity that they don't tell the figurehead about. But you're right, Kamala Harris. We shouldn't need to say anything about her. I mean, she's a joke.
well, she's
a very
just
bad
so out
joke.
of the picture. You never really even see her.
Right. There's apparently a new book out. I was just reading a summary of it by let's try to get this, by a writer for one of the big magazines, few remaining magazines, alleging that Obama has serious problems with Biden, and that
Right now?
well, for their entitlement. Just wait, you're very noisy. So,
What kind of problems?
well, the book, the excerpt that I was reading, recounts an instance in 2005 when Biden is giving some long-winded set of comments in the confirmation hearing, and Obama's on the committee, and supposedly he turned to somebody and said, "Shoot me now." It was that. But I can believe that. I mean, Biden is obviously not only uncool, but he's the opposite of cool and accomplished. He's when you get into a tough scrape and you want a veteran person to help you think through a tough set of issues. I'd call Mr. Magoo before I'd call Joe Biden.
I mean, it's like, just picture your first day at Dillon Reed. Let's imagine we have some sort of time traveling machine, and not even your first day. Picture Jason with the level of training that he has right now, not some financial version of Jason, but just on the most critical day of a deal you've been working on. Just stick me in there knowing nothing about the deal, nothing about what you do, and that'll be the same day that we'll swap you on the set of Amazing Spider-Man, where you got to brief the Academy Award-winning cinematographer as to how all the 3D equipment works. What do we expect the outcome in either of those situations to be?
A great game show.
It just would never.
No, it's a great game show, right? We're trading places.
Yes, put the most incompetent person
But you
for
could
the
do
job.
it. You could do it over and over again, right? I mean, you could have all kinds of people. You could take, Shaquille O'Neal, and get him to work.
Basket weave.
I was going to say, designing a ballerina.
Can I ask you politely to not ride that on the sidewalk, please? It's very dangerous.
He's not going to listen to it, Jason.
I'm trying a different approach.
He's not going to listen. Let's just leave him alone. Hopeless.
Maybe it worked.
Maybe. There's that Con Ed plant that blew up.
Yeah. Right. Turned off the electricity
Maybe it
for a
did
day or
work,
two.
Jason. Congrats.
Yeah. See, I'm trying a lot of different approaches, and each one is tailored for the subject.
So you take Shaquille O'Neal and you say, listen, dude, what you're going to do is we want you to design children's ballerina outfits. You know, I don't think he could do that.
Or the new supercomputer for Tesla. How about that?
Right.
Let's get Shaquille O'Neal to do that, and Parag Agrawal can be the starting center forward for the Lakers.
Yeah, let him be or the sparring partner with Mike Tyson. You
Yeah,
gotta get
I like that. You know, he's standing for Floyd Mayweather,
Right.
and have even Aaron Paul or whatever, Jake Paul can beat him up.
Or have him fight Joe Rogan.
Perfect. He'd still kill him.
I know. That'd be Avenue C. I can't remember the last time I've been over. We came over once to look at this, I think.
It's a beautiful day. We've had a lot of good weather this summer.
In the neighborhood, Jason.
Exactly.
So, but just talking a bit about the student loan program, as was the case with We Don't Care About Obamacare, the concept of providing, of paying for somebody's mistakes.
Hang on, let's.
I know.
I don't know what we'll. Hi.
Hi. You coming from San Antonio or Mexico?
That's somebody moving into college, I think.
Yeah, it's an NYU person probably.
People have so many creative ideas about how to move stuff.
Why can't they people make wheels that are quiet? I mean,
There's so many problems with what they're doing over there. Here's another park I've never seen before, Charles. Oh, that's a great idea. Let's build a park next to the power plant. I don't think anything could go wrong with that.
what could possibly go wrong with that?
We should talk about the nuclear power plant. The International Atomic Energy Agency
Right.
arrived and they said they don't want to leave.
Right, but I hadn't
Later.
finished on the
Yeah.
on the student loan fix.
Right.
In the first place, when you run for office, I mean, Kamala Harris may not understand this yet. It's not like you sign in blood and you make these promises, and then once you win the office as vice president, president, you have the unilateral right to impose your plan upon the country. There's no such provision for that.
I don't think Joe is aware of that.
Right, and so her defense is, well, we told, on the one hand, she says, we told everybody we were going to do this, so we're going to do it. We got to keep our promises.
Oh.
Like keeping the border safe, for example, something you haven't done.
That's just.
And then AOC and others, idiots. Let's stop for a second. So.
She's been kind of quiet lately.
Yeah, and I encourage people to try to watch the Golden Corral ad. I don't know if it's nationwide, but it's hilarious. They're touting their chicken, and the idea is, which type of chicken do you like? And they ask that question to the father, and there's a daughter, and there's a son, and the father either intentionally or mishears the question, thinking the question is, which child do you like more?
Oh, yeah,
and the person he likes more is the little boy. And the girl, I'll tell you, she's a spitting image of what AOC could have been looking like when she was
Mini
12.
AOC.
When she was 12 or 13 or whatever. And it really is, I mean, it's a terrible thing for a parent to do, but even if you felt that way, but it is hilarious the way she, put the AOC in your mind and watch the ad, you get a good chuckle.
Is Mini AOC still on Twitter?
I haven't checked. Maybe she's
off.
not so mini anymore. But,
Right, she's 5 years older now.
right.
Right, she came out with Trump, right?
16, yeah. So she's.
She's probably like 15 now.
Maybe, yeah, or 13.
Maybe she's
or something.
high school probably, so she doesn't have time
Probably,
to make
yeah, she doesn't
videos.
want to do this crap anymore. Her hair is probably blue and she's got a nose ring, for all we know. But, so on the student loan thing, what they should be focused on is whether these universities in the first place should be tax exempt at all.
Exactly.
It's the first thing. You know, why, if it's the case that there are 14 applications will go in for every place at Yale.
Or how about capping tuition if you're going to be
Well,
tax exempt?
I'm against, I think we should decide whether, the original premise of making education tax-free was not to make legal education tax-free. It was to, back in the day.
Professors rich.
No, it was because everybody understood that ministers needed to be trained, and that ministers don't make money, pre Jerry Falwell, and what's his name,
Well, who's that guy who was like
Joel-
smoking meth with a prostitute?
Or Joel Olstein. There was a very funny Babylon Bee, I can't remember it now, about Joel Olstein. But anyway, back in the 1600s and before that in England, it was acknowledged that these schools that would train ministers should be tax-free. And since really, I would argue 1945, maybe 1900, that has mushroomed into educational institutions should not be subject to any effective controls. Educational institutions do not necessarily have to file the same sort of detailed disclosures in the various states that most charities have to file. So you have a hard time getting really good details on Yale and Harvard and Columbia.
You've always told us that the purpose of something being tax exempt is that the thing is supposed to stand in the shoes of government.
And relieve the burdens of government.
So what they should do, right, is they should say, okay, so state-run colleges are going to be tuition free. And if you need housing and food, whatever, pay for that. But the tuition is free and anything they charge for tuition is tax exempt or whatever. And then if you're going to be a private university, you're going to have to like meet some government standard of what you're giving to people. And if you exceed a certain charge, that should no longer be tax exempt.
Right.
Because why? What's their justification?
Well, I take it, I basically say very differently. Having been to a trade school, I mean, Harvard Business School is an incredibly profitable operation. I don't think it's ever lost money.
$44 billion endowment.
Not Harvard Business School.
Oh, these guys are going crazy through the light.
Yeah. And of course, we're over here in drug dealer territory, so we better not get too up.
Manhattan?
No, this portion is like, you know, the
Manhattan?
Well, no, I mean, this is where the real rough drug gangs are, which makes me wonder why we're here. But
yeah.
Oh, yeah, these people are definitely lost. Hi, we're from Poland. We're here in New York. Where's the university?
There can't possibly be any NYU dorm around here, is there?
I don't know.
Maybe there is.
You would know.
Well, they are adding so many all the time.
Yeah. So what do you think? Should we?
They make a ton of money too. They should not be tax exempt at all.
But clearly, I mean, if Harvard Business School was losing money consistently, how many? I don't think that guy's going to like it that you're taking his picture.
Well, you're going to have to do a lot of legwork to get over here.
A gun moves pretty quick, and this guy's doing shady
It's a bad
stuff.
shot. Oh, you're right. There is a lot of shady business going on
Yeah, I
over
mean,
here, Charles.
you want to be careful around here.
Look at this. Where's that license plate from?
So this is a big project. I don't know if it's safe even to go through here. I went down once to see my kids in Brooklyn, and I made a wrong turn, and I went deeply into one of those things. And somebody came up to me and said, "Excuse me, sir,
You're
what
in the wrong
fuck
neighborhood."
do you think you're doing in here?
Yeah.
You need to turn around and go that way." I said, okay, thank you.
Yeah, I believe that.
But you can
good
see, I mean,
advice.
this place at night,
No, not good. I don't like 7th Avenue at night.
I don't like Park Avenue at night.
Oh yeah, I don't like any of it at night these days. It's a real sad case how things have gone so far south.
Right. So back then on this question of education, it's kind of funny to see all these people hanging around Washington Square Park. This morning, the NYU students are back, and this morning there was this kid decrying a situation about not being able to get a student loan or having to pay for a student loan. I forget what it was. But the first thing that I think people have lost sight of is that capitalism doesn't work if you have no capital. Right? Capitalism, the goal of capitalism, one goal is so that people obtain capital and put it to productive use.
Look at that.
What?
Housing New York?
Be careful, Jason. 5-borough 10-year plan.
What is the plan?
Lower East Side ANCP. This site is monitored by Monotech Security. I'd like to get away from here.
Okay.
Just I'm more comfortable.
Sure.
I'm not comfortable down here at all, but I'm more comfortable.
I'm just
on an
curious
avenue.
about the New York housing project.
At least with this, we got bus drivers. We got.
We'll
I think
just-
we've walked down this before.
They'll definitely break out their cell phones once we start getting killed. And they're like, damn, this is going viral.
Yeah. So actually, this little section we walked through here before, and I think watch the.
A lot of dog shit.
I don't know that you conclude safely that's just dog.
True.
Could be cat,
It's a big cat.
lion. Guy, that's the head of Joe Biden's cabinet selection committee.
So there's a hearing tomorrow, and Trump's lawyers are going to respond to this whole bit of business from the DOJ.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm jumping around now, but I didn't finish the thought
Oh, yeah.
that back in 1988, I sent an email to somebody close to Trump this morning saying to understand why Trump is being persecuted. Little tigers, you have
Karate class.
little kids. It's
That's
cute.
pretty cute.
Yeah. Easy start trial program.
That's smart. Teach your kids karate so they can beat up maniacs.
Which here's some Chinese
Beat
food
up
for you.
jackasses riding bicycles on the sidewalk.
Yeah. He's delivering crappy Chinese food from that crappy Chinese restaurant. But I said to the person in this email close to Trump, you have to understand what they're trying to cover up. What they're trying to cover up, why the archives is so concerned about this, because the archives either recklessly didn't know that they have never had all the Clinton presidential records, never had all the W. Bush records, never had all the H.W. Bush records, never had all the Reagan records, and including the vice presidents of all these, and never had the Obama records, and allowed same to be in the custody and control of conflicted criminal presidents, especially including Bill Clinton. And I said, I mean, there are more scandals than just this, but with regard to W,
Yeah, that smelled weird, didn't it?
yeah, with regard to W, what they're trying to cover up is W's involvement, I think, with Harkin Energy, which was a project with George Soros that went horribly wrong, involved insider trading and fraud. And W was on the board of that. And W took restricted stock that had been pledged back to the company and lied on a loan application and used that as collateral to get the money he needed to be the general partner of the Texas Rangers.
But isn't this a nice painting of a bird? Can I go on Ellen now?
So that's some of what W was trying to cover up. What Clinton was trying to cover up would take the 500 shows that we've already had to go through in some depth, but some of the high points. Let's keep. There's a guy stopped.
This robot park.
La Plaza needs you. Public Art Award.
3 books.
Actually, it looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
We've been in here before.
Have we?
Yeah. So with regard
Viking waffles.
right, with regard to Clinton, they're clearly trying to cover up the many scandals that Loretta Lynch and Hillary and others, Vince Foster, were aware of and categorized starting in March 1992, and did their level best to make sure that the public didn't find out about them by November 1992. Then the second they got into office, they did their level best to purge as many files as possible of any evidence that would bite them in the ass.
How will things like this deal with becoming electric? They're advertising that it has V8 power.
Yeah, I don't know.
And if you need to drive across country with something like that, a truck like that would have so many batteries in it, it would take forever to charge.
Oh, you just go to the charging stations, Jason.
And wait an hour and a half, and then there's going to be a huge line.
Which there aren't any.
There's not enough. It takes too long to charge.
And it's and filling.
And it's
the truck.
costing more than the gas now. The price of electricity is going up so high, it was costing over $100
Right.
to charge a Tesla S.
It's like, if you want to appoint somebody poet laureate in America, one first clue would be to make sure that they speak English.
Right.
If you're going to have somebody reconfigure the national economy, wean it off fossil fuels, you better have the replacement pretty well thought through before the weaning starts.
But write it as a haiku.
I think Joe Biden's written it as a fuck you.
let's go to the shady side.
Sure, sure. After you.
So do we finish the college idea? The loan idea?
Yeah, the cost of college needs to be dramatically reduced. I've got it. Sorry.
This guy's moving like one parking space. It wasn't clear what he was trying to do.
I was trying to avoid
No, it's okay.
this this project here on the left.
Look at this.
That's an old car. What is that?
I
gotta be
can't
from the
say that
50s.
I know. Maybe a Dodge. It's a piece of junk.
It's a Dodge,
yeah.
Pennsylvania Dodge. It's probably Joe's Dodge
Well,
from Pennsylvania.
they have a Ram on the front, so they want you to dodge that when it's coming at you 50 miles an hour.
And these guys don't look
There's
too.
the Ram.
These guys don't look too.
No, maybe we should cross to this side now.
Yeah.
This is it. What the hell is he saying?
Just don't engage.
Not engaged.
Yeah.
Keep my eye on them.
Yeah. These guys, they're strung out drug addicts.
That looked like Jeff Spicoli.
Well, this is this corner of Tompkins Square here. This is that.
There's a lot of sketchy people in Tompkins Square Park. Will I pass this class, Mr. Hand? I don't know. I like the sound of that. I don't know.
Well, this is where we walked months back, and there were all the tents on the sidewalk of people in tents. And
Well,
then we
but
got to the corner, and somebody was smacking books out of.
Right, and you have seen now kind of more police activity in Washington Square Park, but
Yeah, they're giving out tickets to people drinking hard cider and beer in cans, but letting the drug trade thrive.
should we walk through the park or no? There's kids swinging.
Yeah, okay.
Can't be that bad. It's not going down, Charles. Time to buy Bitcoin now. There's an incredibly far spit that guy just spat.
Gob. He gobsmacked himself. Now, this park, it has potential. It's pretty big.
You gotta be brave just coming here with your kid.
Yeah. You pick up a tutor right here. He's probably an NYU grad student.
Wow,
Another one there.
that can't be allowed, sleeping right next to the kids' playground with a mattress there.
Did you see that story about Pakistan? A third of the country is underwater.
I did. What caused that flood?
Flooding.
But what? Just weather?
Yeah, heavy rains, and then the ground can't absorb. Oh, yes.
It's not good, Charles.
Well, this is precisely the area we went through that one time where there were 20 or 30 of them.
We're not tempting fate.
Today they're asleep.
Exactly.
Another one.
We're not going to wake a sleeping giant. Don't wake a sleeping hobo.
I prefer the sleeping kind.
Yeah.
Check for these guys.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go through here.
No, I think you want to keep going.
Okay.
This way.
Oh, they've got
Oh,
art.
this
for
guy, I
sale.
know this guy. He's in Washington Square Park trying to sell that art every day.
I can't imagine why he's not having success.
He used to have a cart, and he would come and say, I need money. I need to sell this art. It was done by my son, who's trying to raise money for tuition to go to art school.
Yeah, you should.
Let me suggest Plan B.
Right,
Is he
exactly.
18? Army.
You got to explore another
this
field.
is what I don't know that we want to walk through this.
Where would you like to go? Right?
I want to go that way, but you see,
Let's just see what's going on here with this bizarre tent. Is this COVID testing?
but you see how many people there are there all cramped together, like 6, 7,
I
8.
do. I guess it's COVID testing.
Stupid testing.
Oh my
Am I
God, it
stupid?
smells so bad. No, it's Hep C and HIV testing, overdose preventing, training with Narcan, fentanyl test strips, condoms, and more. Wow, it's the one-stop shop, Charles. Did you
Right.
see that?
I
It
did.
smells like a toilet.
Yeah, I think we can jink by these guys now.
This is making Washington
And
Square.
they're-
Wow, that guy's cleaning up, but he doesn't work for the city. My God, Charles, this is making Washington Square Park look like.
Yeah, I thought it was a good idea to show our viewers what this is like.
Hi, guys. Are you volunteering to clean up? You don't work for the city, right? So what happened? What prompted you to do that?
We wanted
wanted to be helpful to the community. And,
I think
do
it's a good
something,
idea.
Nice.
Are you
And-
part of an organization? Or you?
We Love You Foundation. We're helping to fulfill sustainable development goals established by the United Nations. So this is in partnership with Councilwoman Rivera and also BlackRock company
So BlackRock and the UN are cleaning up the park, but the
with the We Love You Foundation.
city's parks
We love you.
department-
That's it.
We love you.
Very
good.
good.
Thank you. So Charles, the city of New York
What about these
can't
guys?
clean up this shit-ridden park,
Yeah, there's a whole bunch more of them.
but BlackRock and the UN, it smells like a toilet everywhere in here. This is a biohazard, this park.
This is not what we walked through before. We walked through. If Virginia is for lovers, what is Manhattan for?
So I wonder, I guess these people aren't from New York, huh? Are you guys from New York?
Fucking crazy. Do your parents know you're here?
Right.
Let's get away from the coffee.
Yeah. Who's that statue of? I can't recall.
This is 7th Street. Now, do we want to go across 8th or 7th? Just go.
Doesn't matter to me.
Is that your stuff?
Not mine. It's a glow stick.
Yeah, it was here that we saw the
Books.
pile of books, and there were tents going up the street,
Tent
but
City, yeah.
not anymore.
I don't know, Charles. Each one of these parks should have a troop of cops in it.
Oh, she was pissed at you.
Oh, that skater girl almost hit me with the board, just kicking it up.
Let's go 1 north and down 8th. This will be more traffic.
What do you think about that Tompkins Square Park?
I mean, it's, look, when I was 16 or 18, I might have had an interest in going there, but I mean, look at this restaurant here. Look at this.
That's what I was just looking at. It's who would take
want
their
a
kid
corn-
in there. It's
corn
the
dog,
scariest
$3.
thing. No,
Fried Oreo.
beignets.
This is what you eat that and then you become that.
This is the haircut place.
That.
Bona fide barbers. You don't want to get a high top fade, Charles? We
An
could,
auto de
Tenure.
fe. Now this
we could go as Kid and Play for Halloween.
we could. Yes. This is a Ukrainian former restaurant.
But that's not the original Odessa restaurant, is it?
I have no clue. It's not anything at the moment.
Wow.
Photo and Digital Lab, is this where you got your start?
Nah, I've never been over here before.
Avenue A,
that
Deli
store.
and Grill.
It's funny, when we were over on Avenue C, there was a store that said Av C Pharmacy, and I thought it said Avec Pharmacy, and I was like, Avec what?
Yeah.
It's pharmacy, what else?
I don't know. What's across the street there? I wouldn't focus on it. To your right, left.
Yeah.
Those people are.
Oh, the deal just went down. Wow, good thing we didn't get that on camera. Somebody would be coming to talk to us.
They might anyway.
I mean, those guys are not too discreet.
Why be discreet? Nobody's going to do anything
I guess
about
it doesn't matter, right? Here's the Scooby van. So wait a minute, I feel like we had a good topic that we were about to talk about.
Well, we talked about the student loan program. We talked about the raid. We started to talk about the NAACP
Right, they got,
in North Carolina. They get shut down, but not the Clinton Foundation. Just all the way from Vietnam.
or Natas.
Or
They-
NATAS, exactly.
Oh, I can't imagine that a marshmallow restaurant would go out of business.
Well, it's a squish marshmallows.
I love marshmallows,
I
I'm
don't.
sad, but I don't think you need to be a genius to realize that selling marshmallows is not much of a business. Ah, this is a weed store.
Ah.
Dispensary, sorry.
What's the difference?
I'm not sure. They're dispensing.
Got to be really precise when you're talking about the weed community.
Yeah, he's a scientist.
Put him on the Supreme Court.
Oh, Veselka, that's what I was thinking of.
Oh, yeah,
right.
the engine? The what?
The Veselka restaurant is what I was thinking of. Charles, here's the Hulk. I know you're very excited for the She-Hulk TV show that's coming out.
The title of that movie is Sucks?
I don't know.
Boy.
Ah, man,
So
I know I had a topic I wanted to.
We're coming up on my friend's theater. I almost don't want to hear what's going
Yeah, no, I don't want to. We don't have enough time or the right microphone to get into a big conversation with him. Maybe we should go right and go up one block.
It's as you wish. Yeah, we can do that. Although 8th is, or maybe across the street, going. Or maybe let's just see if he's not there. We get lucky he's not there. But I think he is there.
I don't want him to feel like you're avoiding him.
Well,
But I also don't want to hang out there for 10 minutes.
well, what we could do is go down 7th and for this
Sure.
one, or whatever the next one is. Yeah, 7th.
Sure.
Go a little bit out of our way. And this is 1st and 8th. I'll have to do a little sunning. That's okay.
Oh, the nuclear power plant, right. The Atomic Energy Agency, the International Atomic Energy Agency went there, and Russia was like, yes, we like that idea, and even said, where the hell are you? Get over here. And so they arrived yesterday.
And are they going to stay?
Well, that's what, ow!
You okay?
Yeah, that was a bad crash into a jutting out thing. Yeah, they want to stay, and they want a permanent presence there. And so what's happening is they were trying to, here's my understanding, and maybe people know more about it. We've got these fuel storage areas where the fuel is going to be uranium. And although I don't think it's a great idea to drop conventional bombs on uranium, it will not create a nuclear explosion or have widespread dissemination of radioactive stuff. It can make, I think we should go to that side so we can get in the shade. Oh wow, what's with all the cops?
It's this, well, let's cross the street to avoid the cop.
They're not texting, they must be getting ready to beat somebody up.
That's why I want to cross the street, in case that person is me.
So the point is, I think if you bomb and, make a mess out of uranium, to some extent, it can become aerosolized, but it's not the same as if a containment facility for a nuclear reactor breaks because the reaction is happening out of control. Like at Fukushima, both Fukushima and Chernobyl, what you had was a power failure or a systems failure at the reactor station, which caused the nuclear reaction to go out of control.
Right.
And it could no longer be cooled by the coolant, and it evaporated the coolant and created so much pressure inside the containment facility that it ruptured while the nuclear reaction continued going on.
It's an old-fashioned hat store.
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
For ladies and gentlemen. Handmade on the premises.
Get my Indiana Jones hat there.
Yeah. But, so when that happens, you have this uncontrolled, nuclear chain reaction that continues going on, generating radioactive waste and boiling the water, making radioactive steam that was going all over the place and going up into the clouds and creating radioactive rain.
Across Europe.
Across Europe, and that's where your huge environmental disaster lies. So I'm not saying it's good to bomb radioactive fuel, but it's not the same as if they're able to breach the walls of the containment center, or worse, which what they were trying to do is turn off the power going to the facility so that I guess they could try to make this nuclear chain reaction go out of control so that you can't stop it. And there was that thing that happened a week or two ago where they shut the plant off to attach it to some diesel powered backup power, and it wasn't generating electricity for Ukraine, but they needed to get the power to the nuclear reactor back on to control the reaction. And now it appears, they were saying that these containment facilities this thing was designed in the 80s or the 90s, so it's much stronger than Chernobyl, they were saying, and that it's designed to resist earthquakes and natural disasters and even, certain types of war type stuff. But this is the first time in history that any nuclear power facility was directly involved with a war where it could be a target. And if they take the power station offline and put it out of control, you could have a Chernobyl type containment facility eruption where steam and radioactive material are released, and that's the real danger.
Oh, this is the church.
Now you got free NFTs. I don't think the NFT thing is
How's that
working.
market doing?
Well, I tried it, and
Did you like it?
preceded the. Wow, I don't know if we've seen this destruction from this angle. A couple people bought NFTs, and they still have them, and they're worth whatever Ethereum is worth. But it doesn't seem to be doing what the people who were shouting about it had hoped. But it doesn't look like there's a lot going on to fix this. And look, that's kind of Russian. Is that Russian graffiti?
I don't know. Sad to see. I guess we cross and go up to 8th.
A lot of graffiti around, Charles.
Well, this has always been a rundown part of New York.
True. Yeah, so the International Atomic Energy Agency, first of all, said no delegate from the United States or the United Kingdom
Why not?
could hang out with them, because I guess they sort of realized that the United States and the United Kingdom are totally lying about this. And they said, we want to go there without people who are lying about it. And now they say they want to stay there, and Russia said, okay. So, like, I mean, everyone on NBC and ABC and CNN and all that are like, oh, both sides are blaming each other. And they're saying that so that the dummies who watch those programs will just be like, oh, well, see, Russia's lying. But it's obvious that Russia has no reason to lie about this.
And more to lose.
It's not logical that Russia would attack this station or lie about what's going on there. They're the ones who are saying, yes, bring the independent inspectors and have them stay here. And it's Ukraine that's saying we don't want any of that. And it's Ukraine that's...
Is that your car?
It's another Galanda wagon, G-Wagon.
Rabus.
Some idiot. Oh, that's going to be modified.
It's from out of town.
Where was it from? I didn't see the plate.
It looked like an Ohio plate to me from a distance,
Wow.
but
Yeah, Brabus is a tuner for Mercedes. So that's probably even tougher than the AMG. I don't know. But somebody in the comments tried to twist what I said into an anti-Jewish comment. That is a G, as in Goodman, wagon. Galanda wagon is what it's called in German.
Yeah.
And G-Wagon is a common name for it.
Another nice. We saw that before.
Yeah, that's just a little biohazard site there. You know, there's a lot of people. Sir, can I ask you politely to not ride that bicycle on the sidewalk? Hey!
Yes, come on. He's going to say he lives here.
Yeah, he's going to say he lives here and he was going to park it. Sir, I want to ask you politely to ride the bike on the street because it's against the law and it's dangerous to pedestrians. You can't hear, or you're just fucking stupid. Which is it, asshole? Yeah, you can fucking hear. Keep the bike off the sidewalk, dick! It starts out polite. See, Charles, people question my approach because they think, oh, people just want to have fun. No, we're living in a society where people want to decide what they get to do.
You should explain, because I don't think the audience knows, that you suffered a grievous injury.
I have a permanent injury from somebody who thinks it's fun.
I mean, it's not like a small injury.
I mean, it doesn't ruin my life, but it does persistently bother me when there's bad weather and things like that. And it's just against the law and dangerous to people.
Is this girl wearing underwear?
And see, when there's a guy like that, who should know better, he's an adult.
He's probably a communist puke.
Exactly, and he's probably the same one who would have been out there with the My Body, My Choice when they're talking about abortion, but the Your Body, My Choice when they want you to take a vaccine and wear a mask. So he wants to do... Exactly. So these guys are trying to, screw up the video. Everybody's an asshole, Charles.
Right? Well,
So if we're going to have a world where we get to decide what laws we get to break, where does the line get drawn?
Well, we're not going to have that said world.
The other thing is, they've now said that. Look at this. Look at this. What does that sign say? Oh, it's just an ad for selling weed. I thought it was a construction sign saying that a weed place is coming in. They're now saying that this law that Kathy Hochul wants to put in place to impinge or infringe or whatever it is on your Second Amendment rights, they want to look at your social media posts
Good luck with that.
3 years when you apply for a gun permit.
I mean, what people should be doing now is making reservations for their moving experience. This is not going to get better.
Here's
Even-
the St. Mark's Comedy Club. That's new.
Even if Lee Zeldin wins, this is hopeless here in Manhattan.
I agree.
And apparently there's some law going into effect that in Times Square you're not allowed to have a gun, and going into effect
that's what I
today.
mean. They're finding all these, safe spaces. So here's the weed world that is a historic place. That's crazy.
What could go wrong?
Hamilton House or whatever that is.
What could go wrong, Jason?
Charles, they've allowed everything to descend into utter crap.
I think utter crap. I think there are 10 sub-basements below that.
And when they were writing the Constitution, you have the right to keep and bear arms, so long as some asshole working at the NYPD agrees with what you say on Twitter. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that that gives them the right to go look through, those are your personal papers, essentially, as far as the Constitution.
Monthly gander around these.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Hi.
Liquor store owner.
Good to see
Oh,
you.
hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
I didn't
Pleasure.
recognize you.
Yeah.
How is everything like on this block? It looks like it's getting worse.
It's up in smoke, let's say.
Yeah.
How
is
late-
the liquor business down because of weed?
No, the liquor business is just down in the summer in general because everyone runs away from Manhattan, but especially this summer because, people first summer is really like not COVID, if you will.
Yeah.
And but we see it coming back already. People are coming back to town. Tourists are coming back, so
Parents are stocking up their kids' refrigerators
kids are
and
moving
NYU.
in this week and everything. So yeah, we're seeing a little comeback. So hopefully it'll be a good fall.
Good. And you're done for the day?
No, head over to the bank.
Oh, okay.
Head to the other store.
Good
You
for
know
you.
the drill. Never
That's
done
good.
in the liquor world.
Say hi to your dad.
I will. Good to see you.
Thanks for
guys.
stopping us.
Take
Good
care.
seeing you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thanks for
Good
stopping
to see you.
us. See ya.
Take care.
The guy said he had a lot of cash on him. I was like, I'd like to get away from you now. That's how my mind works. So let's
Right.
go into the park,
Sure.
and then we'll end over there on 6th Avenue.
Check out the
I don't know how much
maniacs
time we
there.
have. Are we perilously
We got
close?
about 20 minutes.
Oh, 20 minutes. Okay, good. So you can see, people like to sleep everywhere in the city.
Right.
You know?
Because this is, their opportunity to do whatever the hell they want. Mind your own business.
I don't want to tell people where I go get my coffee, but the streets are now filled in the morning with all manner. This is 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:30. All manner of people, fast asleep on the sidewalk, on steps, standing in front of delis. Hey man, give me some money. Drinking, smoking cigarettes, drinking, smoking weed. Got garbage.
Also, here's the black cube of Saturn.
And that Starbucks is where Mr. Big hangs out in there.
Oh,
What?
oh no, nothing. This Starbucks, that guy basically lost his career over an allegation.
Right, so Mr. Big is in there, as is
Chris,
Noel or
Knopf.
Noth or whatever his name.
yeah, I was on a plane with him one time.
Well, I
He was
used to write my Washington Times columns in there every Sunday.
That's a big one. That's one of the old.
It's got
like,
it's a major collection of hobos. They
back in the day, that was like the biggest Starbucks.
But what they do is Jesus, and the smoke and the garbage.
Weed, smoked garbage.
But they hang out. They wait for the place to open, and then they'll go in there, and there are outlets. So they recharge their phones,
Right.
their laptops, and everything, and they sit there for 6 hours without having any food. And they, go into the bathroom. Who knows what they're doing in there? They've now changed the bathroom policy at Starbucks. No longer can you do that.
I think that was a big deal for them, wasn't it?
Well,
That it was like
mean,
oppressing people to not let them
again.
do heroin in the bathroom.
I'm sorry. If the police department wanted to have a community outreach program in the summer, for example, they could say, all right, look, we're going to have a water bar If you're dehydrated, come in here. We'll give you water. We're not going to check your ID. And maybe we'll give you food or some marginal amount of food, free COVID test or something. But this notion that you have an absolute right to walk into Starbucks and absolutely filthy, and go and stand in the line or break the line and say, hey man, give me some water. I want ice in that water. That's just bullshit.
Well, they've allowed them to do it. There was a time where they could kick you off of a plane if you had body odor.
Those times should return.
Now I think we've passed by this
guy.
Captain Cookie and
How
the
about to your
Milkman
right?
thing before.
See the guy to your right?
Yeah. Oh God, he reeks.
City morgue. That's where you're going to end up. Behave like that for the rest of your life. Could
Captain
be short.
Cookie and the Milkman.
The line to get in there is non-existent.
Well, I don't understand how you could have an entire business based on cookies.
Well,
here.
it's based on the captain as well. Maybe people think it's an armed forces recruiting center. Yeah, I started to say that if you've got, a ne'er-do-well, poor student, this is an interesting character.
Fishnet stockings on a bicycle.
It was not a woman.
Well, now we're dabbling in biology.
Right, well, no, it wasn't. 17, 18-year-old poor student, non-athlete, non-participatory in school. You might be doing that kid a favor, saying, look, go into the Army, go into the Navy, go into the Coast Guard, do something. Because we're not on a program where you just mooch for the rest of your life.
Well, think about it. That kid who was giving away weed and selling T-shirts, or selling weed and giving away T-shirts.
$200,000 in student loans.
Well, if he didn't have the student loans, he could have just gone right to the entrepreneurial phase of his life, sell weed in the park, and just call it a day.
You'd have 12 lieutenants just like that guy.
Yeah, he'd have a 4-year jump on the other weed salespeople.
Yeah. This, by the way, I know you don't particularly like liquor, but this is it doesn't look like a nice liquor store. It doesn't, but it is. The prices and selection in that place is amazing.
Been in there plenty of times back in the NYU days.
You found yourself in there?
Nah.
Not?
I mean, like, find my soul, or just...
No, found yourself in there.
I just happened to be in there, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't, like, search my soul and find myself
No,
in
I
there.
didn't suggest you did. I just said you found. I was trying to be
I get it.
polite.
No, it was...
That's a kind of...
That was a who's on first.
That's a Dylan Reed elegant letter. You don't... I didn't say you were a drunk in college. You just found yourself
Right.
in the liquor store. Let's let these people go by us here.
That dog looks kind of young.
Yeah, so that's one of the things I was noticing. I remember when I got to college, I had spent the summer, 3 whole months actually, working almost 7 days a week at Simpson Thacher Bartlett
Oh, yeah.
as a proofreader, and I had taken the law boards and
Pretty good.
got a 665 or something like that. Pretty good out of 800. It's pretty good for a college graduate.
Right, for a non-law
But
student.
for a high school kid. Anyway, and I felt I was pretty mature. When I look around at these guys, you know what this means, right?
Speed up is what New Jersey, you dummy.
She doesn't know the rule. Ignorance is no excuse, but the clue to the ignorance is the...
Why is this pizza place out of
Because its electric bill went up? I don't know.
Maybe.
You would think that pizza serving NYU,
Right.
tough to lose money on that.
That's what I'm saying.
Around the corner from a dorm.
And the main
Right.
film building and everything. And the Stern building over there.
So what was I talking about right before then?
Well, taking the law boards and working
Oh
at
yeah.
Simpson
So walking to see you,
Oh, I thought
I walked by in the park, and I walked right behind these NYU students. I thought they were 8th graders. They really look young. That's just because I'm an old fart, but...
Well, I was going to say, I think that's the thing, is that...
But I mean, they really look... I have had children at that age recently, and they just look, to me, younger than my children were at that same age.
That's the thing with 20-year-olds. They stay the
We're
same
talking
age, and we
17.
keep getting older.
We're talking 17 and 18, this little wispy little guy talking to some girl. What are you majoring in?
Here's your AMG Mercedes, Charles.
Which looks like a dumpster to me.
SL over there.
The green car, the pickle mobile.
That's a very expensive car.
Really wise to put it on this corner right there. Under this scaffold is where a whole bunch of homeless people sleep at night.
But it is easier and more convenient.
Speaking
Maybe
of
it's
the
rigged up
college
to
kids,
explode. So Leonardo DiCaprio is blowing up the internet by dumping his girlfriend like on her 25th birthday or something, and then people are saying like, apparently
because he wants a more chronologically close in age.
No, I think what happens is when they turn 25, he ditches them and just moves to the next 25-year-old.
Pentec, what does this mean? Or
Well, I don't
Rentec?
know. This is all done up for racing.
XPRC, this can't be a smart place to leave this car.
This is a crazy
New York
AMG
car.
GTR.
I mean, you got
very
to be kidding
expensive
me.
car.
You think that that's not going to be keyed? There's a bum right here. We'll see if he's here. He's always generally in front of this deli, yelling and
Oh, that skinny little guy.
Yeah, we passed him last time. He stands, ranting and raving if you don't give him money. Maybe he's tired.
We've developed a who's who of homeless.
Right.
There's Methuselah.
Methuselah?
Oh, wait, who's this guy?
Uh,
What is going on with
Pete
this person?
Buttigieg. He's preparing for Halloween.
No, that's his regular outfit. I think. Whoa, what, we have a protest of some kind, Charles.
Where? He's
I know,
searching
there's a
for.
sign down there.
Oh, okay. Why don't we follow that?
Well, let's go through the park and see where they're.
It could be this is orientation.
Oh, that might be right. Disorientation.
Yeah, that's a guy who I think he does tarot readings or something. This is the better way to go down this way. In that it's mostly in the yeah, that's the guy who sells.
He looks like he needs to go to the Jimmy Buffett restaurant.
Yeah, here's the tarot reading, another tarot reading guy. And this is, so I was 3 years and almost 5 months old, 4 months old when I first saw this park. And I was probably that tall.
It's a side effect of being 3.
Right.
Hey, look, they have a sign there now that says kids.
It's every, I don't know if it's every day, but it's very nice that they come and they play games with the kids.
Oh,
And
I
here
thought
the
it was
cops-
saying no homeless people allowed kids.
Yeah,
only.
Wednesday's 3 to 5, so where's this thing? Isn't it about 5?
I don't know, maybe no kids showed up.
Yeah, and here we have this. Let's leave them alone, these cops. But this is the guy in the white shirt is the community outreach officer. Guy to our left sleeps in the park, right to my left behind me now.
If he's the community outreach officer from the 6th precinct, he's the guy who did not.
Do you want to do a circuit of the park, or do you want to just
Well, we
head over to
we still have a few minutes on the battery here. Sure. Let's just see if that is the guy. That might be him. I will respect your request and not yell at him.
just he'll recognize me next time? So we could actually. We've passed the community outreach guy. Let's take a risk and go through this corner because I see more well-dressed people. Let's see how bad the worst part of the park is.
Yeah, people thought that tarot card guy was the naked cowboy, but he couldn't be because he was dressed.
Oh, details, Jason.
Naked cowboy is naked even if it's February.
Well, he's not naked technically.
Well, he
He's
has
wearing-
underwear, but he's pretty naked.
Well, again, I mean, you're splitting words.
Exactly.
You're either naked or you're not.
Right. There's no recession, Charles. No one is walking across the border. That's not how it works. That was an amazing moment. And Peter Ducey is like, wait a minute, that is what's happening.
Yeah. Well, you got to ask me that question with respect. I'm lying to you. You got to treat me with respect.
She looked like a little kid getting dressed down when he was talking to her. She just literally cannot think on her feet, doesn't have the answers to the questions that she should expect.
I would delete
people
the
to be
words
asking.
on her feet. She cannot think.
Cannot think.
Period.
These two are nuts, just hanging out here in the park like it's a nice day. Look at all these people thinking that this is not a heroin addict infested area of the park.
Well,
it's
here's
pretty
where
dangerous.
it gets that way pretty quickly. We need to walk quickly.
Oh, I hear you. So those three cops standing down over there,
Doing nothing. And
you're
then
right, they're real good at ignoring the glaring problem right here in the park.
This is easily, we've passed 10 people so far. And this is the danger zone here
I don't
where they can
understand
swarm
this guy's
us.
just hanging out here reading his text like it's like a fine day.
And there's some cops right there.
Where? Oh yeah. What are they doing? Talking to the guys playing chess. It's interesting. All right, so they're engaged. We'll leave them alone while they do that.
Let's go that way.
Oh, and look at the reinforcements come over. The guy on the scooter came over, so now it's 2 cops and 1 additional crazy person.
Right. This is the worst corner of the park. This is the the west corner for people who are wandering
Here's a
here.
police camera.
Right. Oh, this is really bad at night, and we'll go up this way, and then we'll go up 6th Avenue. This is where they spill out. They chase them out of the park, so they spill up this street.
Right.
This morning, as I walked on some errands, there were 5 bums on the corner here, and we'll see how many there are now. But they were basically pinning you in. There's
like this
entry or exit to the subway, and there were a bunch of them. And if you weren't watching yourself, you could quickly find yourself swarmed, by these people who are barely able to stand up properly.
That white guy looked super dangerous.
He did.
Hey, they got a new maitre d'.
Right.
This is not the regular. Are you the new maitre d' of Bobble?
No.
Oh, they still have that other guy.
You know, have the other guy.
That
the
guy.
other guy's good.
That guy's the worst ever.
He's the best.
No, he's the reason I don't eat there.
I don't know who he is, but he's the best.
Actually, he's a massive jerk. The food is great. Maitre d' is impossible.
Right.
If that guy had just said yes, I might have gone back there.
Yeah. I'm put me down for a no on that concept.
You don't like.
I tried to go in there once. I mean,
Mario
in the moment
Battaglia.
where you could just walk in without a reservation, always anywhere, and the restaurant's empty, and I'll sit at the bar. No.
That guy's a jerk, right?
Yeah. Well,
Even when you have a reservation, he's just a jerk.
this whole idea, I don't like the idea of restaurants particularly, because the attitudes of the
But they
people
have
in
all
the
the food.
kitchen, and they have them in the
Joe,
grocery
that
store.
guy's looking at us like we're a roasted turkey and it's Thanksgiving.
I know.
See, he saw the camera when he turned around and he thought better.
Yeah.
He realizes he's on camera.
Right.
Well,
He was thinking, we'll go that way. Just
Right.
And I'll drop you off.
we're just about out of battery here. I'm still waiting for the teenage engineers in Sweden to come back and do a software update to this thing. But until then, wow. The destruction is
Here's-
really unbelievable.
That guy generally is at the base of the other side of the street typically.
I forgot again today to mention at the top of the show that if people are not yet sponsors, they're gonna want to get onto subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth and check out the first ever interview with Charles. Meet Charles Ortel. People have been finding nuggets in there. Wow, we just had a drug deal go on right there, Charles.
That guy used to live on the corner here of the street. Now he lives up.
He just handed that guy a little bag of... That was something.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope that people will become sponsors. Tons of great content on there. The counter lawfare report. We had a counter lawfare report examining Patrick Byrne's ridiculous 3-ring circus of a lawfare operation. And you help support the show. It's greatly appreciated. So thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks to all the sponsors that make the... there's a Mitsubishi. Almost nobody buying those. Thanks to all the sponsors who make the show possible. Have a great evening, everybody.